Good morning and good afternoon. On behalf of the Bureau of Justice Assistance and the Training and Technical Assistance team, thank you all for joining us today for the 2022 Body-Worn Camera National Meeting. I'm Dr. Brittany Cunningham, the Project Manager for the TTA program. I'd like to go over a few helpful tips before we get started. Please keep your phones or computer audio on mute to avoid background noise. All sessions are being recorded, so others may view it later on our website. Over the next 3 days, we do want to hear from you. I encourage you all to make your thoughts and questions known throughout the sessions you attend. Please use the Q&A function at the bottom of your screen to submit questions. The presenters, speakers, and facilitators will address as many questions at the end of the sessions as time allows. As a reminder, points of view or opinions expressed herein do not necessarily represent the official position or policies of the U.S. Department of Justice. If you have any technical difficulties or have questions throughout the next 3 days, please reach out using the chat function, the Whova app, or email us at bwctta@cna.org if you have any questions. Again, thank you all for joining. I would like to introduce you to and turn it over to John Markovic, Senior Policy Advisor for the BWC PIP program. John?
Thanks, Brittany, and thanks to you, Chip, Carrie, Quinn, Caitlin, Liliana, and the whole TTA team for putting this virtual meeting together. There's a lot that goes into organizing this event and keeping the TTA component of this grant afloat for this year's grantees, as well as the overlapping grantees from previous years. So it's hard to believe that this is our 8th national meeting for BWC PIP. For the next 3 days and afternoons, for those of us on the East Coast, we'll be diving into the details of the BWC PIP program, the Body-Worn Camera Policy and Implementation Program. We'll touch on grant administration, on financial guidance, and then a wide variety of substantive issues. There's 2 things I want to stress at the outset. One of them, Brittany already alluded to. First, we welcome and really encourage your input and feedback. The body-worn camera ecosystem is complex, dynamic, it's ever-changing, and we want to serve your needs as they exist now and as they evolve. So please ask questions and engage with your experiences, your challenges, and your successes to date using the chat feature or when we open it up to Q&A at various sessions. So please feel free to do that. Second, I want to emphasize that we're here to help you. There are a wide variety of agency types, and you saw that on the crawl before if you signed on early. The agencies vary in size and type of agency, mostly municipal police department and sheriff's offices, but we have special jurisdictions, university police, correctional agencies, and so forth. So we have a wide variety of grantees, and some of you are experienced with the grant systems, longtime grantees of BJA or other components. Some of you are new to the grant system. Some of you are expansion sites with body-worn cameras, maybe repeat BWC grantees, and some of you are new to the grant process. We've tried to accommodate this diversity of grantees in the context of this meeting, but importantly, that's where the evaluation comes in. So during the chats, when you have an opportunity to evaluate this meeting at the end on Thursday after we conclude, please do participate in that evaluation. Use that opportunity to tell us what your needs are, both in terms of training and technical assistance and grant administration direction and assistance. So please complete the evaluation form, give us your honest feedback, and provide suggestions on how we can better meet your needs. I'll assure you there will be other learning opportunities during the remainder of your grant period, and you may have already taken part of some of our webinars and podcasts. What I want to do now is introduce Vince Davenport. Vince is an Associate Deputy Director at BJA. Some of you may know him. He had previously been a Senior Policy Advisor at the COPS office, another grant-making agency under DOJ. Most importantly, his career in law enforcement before moving to the federal government spanned over 25 years with the Kansas City, Kansas Police Department, where he concluded his service as a division commander. He's speaking on behalf of BJA and welcoming you on behalf of Director Carlton Moore and Principal Deputy Director Kristen Mahoney. Before I turn it over to him, I want to emphasize that I had the privilege of working with Vince at COPS, and he has a unique combination, I think, of practical experience, grant stewardship, and has a lot of academic and great insights into policing. So the BWC program just moved under his team, kind of coincidentally today, I think is the official day. So I've talked to Vince about this program before, but I'm really pleased that I'll be doing so officially from now on. And I think I definitely will benefit from that. And I think the program, you as grantees, the TTA providers, will benefit from his insight. So on that note, I'll turn it over to Vince for some opening comments.
Thanks, John. I really appreciate that. And it really is a coincidence that within the Bureau of Justice Assistance Policy Office, there are different portfolios, there's different divisions, and I manage the Law Enforcement Operations Division. And it is a pure coincidence that today, the body-worn camera program transfers from another division to my division. And so I've always been kind of envious of my colleague who had this program prior, and I'm really looking forward to working with John, working with all of you, and providing the type of support that BJA is known for in supporting state, local, and tribal law enforcement. I want to, John, thank you for the opportunity to fill in for Director Moore. So Director Moore, he and I, we're actually both, I'm speaking to you from a nondescript hotel room in downtown Denver right now, and we have several conferences going on here in Denver today, and so we're kind of back and forth, and the director had a hard conflict, but he wanted me to send his kind regards and his appreciation for the work that all of you are doing out there, and his commitment to support you as grantees of BJA under the body-worn camera program. And I really appreciate everybody just joining and to be here for a few days to share with one another and to learn from one another. And I think maybe I'll just start by telling you a little bit about BJA. Some of you may know, and BJA is the Bureau of Justice Assistance. We are a component of the U.S. Department of Justice. And of all the different components, it's the largest component that provides grants, training, technical assistance, policy development services to state and local governments. Our primary focus is the criminal justice system, so it's primarily law enforcement, corrections, courts, and so forth. And everything that we do here at BJA is designed to reduce crime, combat victimization, and to support law enforcement. And that's why the body-worn camera program is so important. And as all of us know, our shared public safety landscape has been entirely reshaped these last couple of years by worldwide pandemic and seismic shifts in public expectations of law enforcement. We think that now more than ever, the body-worn cameras are no longer, not that they were ever viewed as a nicety, but they're really viewed, I think, universally as an indispensable tool for a host of really important reasons: to promote accountability, to protect officers, and a lot of other important reasons that you'll discuss these next few days. And I think you would all agree that kind of the ecosystem, the body-worn camera ecosystem, is continuing to evolve. And our challenge here at BJA is to make sure that we understand what those changes are and how they impact agencies. And we want to be able to help overcome some of the challenges so that we can better support every agency, whether you're a large, sophisticated metropolitan agency or you're a smaller agency with fewer resources and fewer officers. And so, for example, one of the things that we've done to kind of support smaller agencies is we've developed a streamlined microgrant program for small, rural, and tribal law enforcement agencies that simply don't have the same capacity as a lot of larger agencies to apply for and to manage these federal grants. And we've also developed some new purpose areas for demonstration projects for digital evidence integration so that prosecutors are better able to leverage digital evidence for effective decision-making, and so that the footage from body-worn cameras can be used to improve training around any number of topics, whether it's de-escalation or just constitutional policing in general. But most important, when we think about our body-worn camera program, we want to make sure that you're getting the most out of this at the local level, period. We don't have a monopoly on good ideas. John Markovic is one of the preeminent national subject matter experts on the use and the implementation of body-worn cameras. But between John and I and our entire team here at BJA and CNA, we don't have your frontline experience of what you're seeing and experiencing day in and day out. And in order for us to better support you, we really have to hear from you and learn from you about your experiences out there in the field when this plays out in real life. It's one thing to talk about policies and implementation. It's a whole nother thing to actually do it in real life, and to do it oftentimes under the bright glare of news cameras in your face and expectations of instant release of footage anytime there's something that's controversial that comes down the pike. And so we know that implementing and carrying out a really good body-worn camera program, even under the best of circumstances, is really challenging. And so, over the next few days, we want to hear about your immediate and your long-term needs. And one of the things that I'm particularly interested in, and John and I, we've had conversations about this, is what are your innovative and fresh ideas, things that and some of you may be doing already, or you've contemplated doing in this space to make the use of body-worn cameras even more valuable. We believe that even though the cameras have been around for a while now, there's still so much more potential to use body-worn camera footage in a really responsible way that will bring added value to training and help to identify opportunities to keep officers safe, hold officers accountable, and really provide people with the law enforcement services that we all deserve. And so I know that we know that we're going to hear a lot about this over the next few days. And I just want to offer up John as our senior policy advisor for the body-worn camera program. I just want to offer him up as a direct point of contact for you. Anytime you want to discuss, different ideas you have and opportunities for us to improve this program so that it benefits you in your city, county, state more effectively, that's really what we're hoping to get out of this relationship over the next few years. And so, and again, I won't get too much deeper into the weeds, because honestly, I don't have the experience that John and our CNA training and technical assistance team has in this space. But I'm really excited to now have the body-worn camera program in my division, in my portfolio, with John leading that. And I'm excited to be more engaged in the coming months and years. And before I wrap, I do want to just take a second. I think I'd be remiss if I didn't talk about another really important topic in addition to the body-worn camera program. And together, we've all been through a lot these last few years. And as our nation continues to kind of search for the right answers to so many difficult questions about policing, the work has to go on, and we have to take care of one another. And the pressures of police work, and I'm John, and this is my shameless plug at Street Cred with those of you who are still out here willing to do this job in a really difficult climate, that this was my professional life for 26 years in Kansas City, Kansas. And we all know that the pressures are unrelenting, and that every member of our national law enforcement family, whether it's sworn or civilian, is at risk of experiencing serious health and safety issues. And I just want to take a minute to talk about our Valor Safety and Wellness program. It all kind of revolves around our core Valor training that promotes safety, wellness, and resilience. And this is free, no-cost training that we can bring to your agencies. And over the last 10 years, we've had over 700 training events. We've trained over 100,000 officers. And we're really proud of this. And I just think it's such an important program today as we see what officers are going through day in and day out. And I also want to mention that we also fund the National Suicide Awareness for Law Enforcement Officers program. We call that our Safe Leo program. This is another no-cost training technical assistance program that's focused around education, awareness, and ultimately the prevention of law enforcement suicides. And so I just think that that's, regardless of what we do with technology, whether it's body-worn cameras, policies, practices, one of the most important issues today really is safety and wellness of our officers, their families, and our staffs. And so I just wanted to get that plug in there for those programs. So thank you, everyone, again, for being here. Thanks for all that you do to promote good policing. And we really look forward to continuing this relationship and collaborating with you so that we can strengthen the body-worn camera program and help promote good policing to the extent that we can support you in your community. So thank you very much and stay safe. And I think I'm going to throw it to Chip Coldren with CNA, kind of take it from here. And thanks again.
All right, Vince, thank you so very much. How pleased we are to be working more closely with you now on the body-worn camera initiative. We frequently say here at CNA that if we take care of our law enforcement officers, they'll take care of us. And so I thank you for the work that you've done in Valor and the work that BJA has done. And CNA is actually a proud participant in that program as well. So it'll be nice to work together. Your perspectives will be fresh and they'll be helpful, I'm sure. So appreciate those remarks. I really, it's going to be hard for me to follow up on these comments, John, I think, and Vince touched on the goals and the purpose of this meeting pretty well. I do want to say a couple things. I'm going to just maybe put a slightly different spin on the goals and objectives. Offer my thanks to John and BJA, not just for the support of this meeting, but for their support of technical assistance in this area over the years. It's been a great relationship. I too have to offer my thanks to Brittany, to Carrie, to Quinn, to Heliana, and everybody else working on this immense, important conference. So thank you to them, and most of all, for everyone that's here who decided and opted to participate. I know there was a requirement, but it's very, very good and very, very important to have you with us for these few days. As John said, this is a very dynamic and growing and interesting program, and it will improve through your perspectives and your thoughts and your participation over the next few days. I think what I would like to say, just in terms of goals for this meeting, as John said, this is our 8th meeting, and I think there are very important learning opportunities here. Much more than learning about the technology of body-worn cameras. Certainly it's important to learn about the administrative grant-making requirements of BJA and all those important details. This is really an opportunity for learning on several levels. We have some experts here that have been involved with body-worn cameras for many, many years, and you'll hear from them. But I think the true experts in the room are yourselves. And so we have structured this meeting as an opportunity for you to learn from each other and from the experiences that you have all had implementing these programs across the country. There's an opportunity to learn maybe a little bit more about the technical assistance resources that are available and that BJA has invested so heavily in. We do feel, as we've already said several times, that this is a time of change with body-worn cameras, and there's some new issues emerging, not just in technology, but in the types of technical assistance that we can provide or that might be required. And to get a focus on that, again, it's important to hear from you. I think that each and every one of you has something important to say about what has happened in your jurisdiction and in your agency and in your office regarding the implementation of body-worn camera programs. And one of the main purposes of this meeting is to give you the space and the venue to talk about what you're doing. And in doing that, you'll help each other, you'll help us, and you will help BJA fashion and craft this program on into the future. So please, as Brittany and John and others have encouraged you, take the opportunity to speak up and let us know what you're thinking and what you're experiencing. Just a couple other quick comments about the agenda. So for today, right after this opening session, we'll hear from Chief Paul Noel from Knoxville Police Department. And then we'll go into a session with Mike White and John Markovic. We call it Body-Worn Cameras 101. And that's just kind of an introductory opportunity to learn about the breadth and the scope of this program and the kinds of things that we've been doing over the past few years. From there, we go into a couple of concurrent sessions, one on what we've come to call T&E, testing and evaluation of body-worn camera programs, and another concurrent session on the importance of compliance audits and how they inform our programs. From there, we'll go to another general session. Laura McElroy on issues around the release of body-worn camera footage and video. Then back to a couple concurrent sessions, one on emerging issues in technology, and another that we call Voices from the Field. Well, you'll have another chance to hear from several of your colleagues that have been implementing programs for some time now. And then we'll close out the day after that session. In the upcoming days, we'll have sessions on community engagement issues and opportunities with body-worn cameras, on what we're now calling digital evidence management, very important issue on how agencies are handling and managing all the footage and files that are coming their way. Some issues around constitutional policing and how body-worn cameras factor into that, how they play into improving field investigations, some general issues around policy development with body-worn cameras, and one of our favorite topics, what are we learning about the impact and the implementation of body-worn cameras through a pretty robust research field around body-worn cameras. So a lot to come the next couple days, a lot to do today. This is a packed agenda. I'll say it again, there are many opportunities for you to engage and participate and ask questions, give us your comments. We just encourage you to do as much of that as you possibly can. We will all benefit greatly from that. So that's what I have. Brittany, if there are any other closing remarks or instructions, let's hear them. If not, let's come back together in about 6 minutes and we'll hear from Chief Noel.
Thank you, everyone. We'll be back